Hey guys, and in today's topic, we'll be talking about valid break of structure or valid break of structure identification, how to simply identify valid structure in the forex market. So, moving on to the number one example, we have market rally to the downside and then push up, push phase, and then we have this pullback here, right? So, when price breaks below the previous lower low, would you confirm this a valid break of structure or not? So yes, I would validate this as a valid break of structure, right? Because markets or below price closed full candlestick below this previous level, right? So would have this to be what a valid break of structure. So moving on to the next example, would you consider this a break of structure, a valid break of structure? Mm, I think yes. Why? Because if you look at this first attempt, you can see that price broke out and went close back inside, right? So this you won't classify this candle movement as a valid break of structure. Conversely, the next candlestick went ahead of its way towards to break below this previous candle low, right? So the actual break of structure is here, like this. The actual break of structure is here, right? So is this a valid break of structure or not? Yes, this is a valid what break of structure. So moving on to the next example, would you would you classify this under the valid um valid break of structure? I don't think so personally. Why? Because you can see the first attempt here when price attempted to break this previous low. You can see that price closed back in. The second candlestick too made an attempt. It went all the way here, swept here, but didn't close below, unlike this one. So if to confirm that this is a valid break of structure, I want to see something like this. Candlestick break below this level here. But the reverse is the case, correct? So we have we have price flex its muzzle, but still closed below this previous candle. So I can't mark this as a what? I can't classify it as a what? As a valid break of structure. SMC traders will classify this as a liquidity sweep. Most of the times when price close like this, there's usually a reversal, right? When we get to the entry type, I'm going to teach you how you can use this pattern for buy entry or sell entry. Usually, when you have something like this, you would see this kind of movements like this. Then price would break above this level here, mitigate it. Then you can buy here and set profit targets at this level. Yeah, right. So we have the next example, the sixth example, the fourth. We have the fourth example here. Would you classify this a valid break of structure or not? Personally, I would classify this as a valid break of structure. Why? Reason is because there's a full candle close, correct? Just like this example here, there's a full candle close. So it's really very simple. I classify this as a what break of structure. So classify this as what a valid break of structure. Would you classify this one as a valid break of structure? Just like this example here, I cannot classify this as a valid break of structure. Why? Reason is because I want to see price break below this previous price range, right? But if price still manages to close below, then I can't consider this a what a break of structure, right? In the future, I want to see another candle break below this price here and continue to rally to the downside. So in the next example, would you classify this as a valid break of structure or not? Personally, I would not validate this. I would not validate this. So here we have the next example here. validate this as a valid break of structure or not? Personally, I won't. Why? Reason is because okay, you can see here there was a liquidity sweep here. This is not really, it's not usually regarded as a valid break of structure, and the next candle attempted, but there was a look. You can see, if you see price closed below this price range here, so I can't validate this as a valid what break of structure. If price had what broken like this, okay. If price had done something like right and just closed below this level here, then yes, I would consider this a what a break of structure. So, but the reverse is the case, correct? The reverse is the case. We have something like this. So, in conclusion, I would not validate this as a what a valid break of structure. So, usually this is a buy signal in a bearish market like this. When you have something like this is usually a buy signal. When you see liquidity soup like this, it means market has taken out retail money here. And when price does this, price is usually, most often than not, reverses to the to the upside, right? So we have this to be what's an invalid break of structure. Let's revert the scale and see from the bullish perspective. Okay, so we have a bullish perspective here, or a bullish scenario here. So when you come across a pattern like this, full body closure uh, above the previous level, would you consider this a valid break of structure or not? Yes, I'll consider this as a valid break of structure. Why? Because candle closed full, but candle had a full body closure, right? So I'll consider this a what a valid break of structure like this. So I'll consider this a what a valid break of structure. So moving on to the next example, when you have liquidity sweep like this, we often regard this as a liquidity sweep. When you have a liquidity sweep like this, price didn't close above like this, price didn't close above like this, would you consider this a valid break of structure when you have something like this? Hell no. Unless you have something like this, unless you have price break above the previous level, right? You consider this a what a valid break of structure. But the reverse is the case. We have something like this, so I would never consider this a valid break of structure. Usually, when you see something like this in your charts, price usually, most often than not, 99% of the time, would reverse in this direction to continue its movement, right, to that direction. Conversely, when you have a full candle close like this, you see that price is price most often continue in that direction, right, like this, continues to go up like this, right. That's why you need to be really careful what you consider as a break of structure, because it might have a great influence in your trade, right? So moving on to the next example, would you consider this a valid break of structure? No. Why? Because after the first attempt and price closed below, we had the other attempts and we didn't have price what close above this previous level like this, right? So the reverse is the case. We have this closure and we cannot validate this. And just like this one, when you have liquidity taken out like this, you see the price is most likely to drop, right? This is the manipulation we talk about in forex market. You will see people putting their stop loss here, right, at this key level here, and when price takes grab all the money here, price is most likely to reverse in that direction. Okay, so take note of that, guys. Moving on to the next example, would you consider this a valid break of structure? Yes, I would, because there's a full candlestick closure, right? So how about the next example here? Would you consider this a valid break of structure? Yes, I would. Look at the first attempt. Price will flex its muzzle up here and then later closed here. Guys, I keep saying this candlestick color doesn't matter, right? You could have an all black candlestick chart on your screen, but if you could read candlestick, if you can understand the open and the close of a candlestick, I'm telling you, you don't even need the colors to determine the valid break of structure or not, correct? So if you look here, even as we have this black candlestick and this one is black, this candle closed bullish, bearish, correct? But this one closed bullish. By the way they close and they're open, you would understand what I'm trying to say. So here we have a bearish candle take out liquidity here, but you can see the next candle broke above this price range here and closed above it. So we consider this a valid break of structure. In the next example, we have an invalid break of structure. Why? Because after price flexed its muzzle up here, price closed below it. This is where price closed here. We're correct. Sorry, price flexed its muzzle and price closed here as a bearish candle. So we have the next, also have the next candle open as a bearish, as a bullish candle. It flexed its muzzle up, took out liquidity here, then closed as a bearish candle, right? So usually, as I said before, when you see this pattern, this candlestick pattern, price most often and not continues in that direction. It means liquidity has been taken out, and once liquidity has been taken out, which, which is the back. This concept is the backbone of smart money trading. Liquidity, spotting liquidity. Once you can spot the fact that liquidity has been taken out here, once you can spot the reality, the fact that liquidity has been taken out here, liquidity has been taken out here, here because you should invariably take advantage of this candlestick pattern by going short in the market, right? So we will move on to the live chart in a minute so you can understand better on valid break of structure. We're going to try and identify break of structures and we're going to identify if they are valid or not, correct? So we have this move like this here. We have this very good example here. We have this move come like this. One, two, three. Correct? Right. So let's identify let's identify the break of structure in it. So you can see here this move one, two, right? You can observe here that the first attempt was on this leg here. This is the first attempt, correct? You can see that when price swept the liquidity, I told you guys, if you can remember, I told you guys that when there's a liquidity sweep, what happens? Price usually continue in that direction. You can see, as you can see here. So we have this first attempt. Price did what? Swept the liquidity here, failed to break below this candlestick. Yeah, failed to close below this candlestick that took out liquidity, and it just continued rallying up. It tapped on the one this with other block and it made the second attempt. On the second attempt, what happened? There was a full candlestick closure here. This is the real break of structure here. So we have the break of structure of this move like this. This is the real break of structure here. We identify this as a break of structure, right? So you can see that let's observe these minor structures here. Let's observe this one here like this trend. Let's observe the what the valid break of structures and the invalid break of structure. So here we have this move like this one, then pull back like this. Let me draw it small. We have this move like this one, pull back, then continuation like this, right? Pull back, then continuation, then pull back like this. So let's identify the valid ones from the invalid ones, correct? So in this first attempt here, you can see that there was a liquidity sweep In the first attempt, price did not make a full candlestick closure. There was a liquidity sweep here, correct? On this first attempt. You can see that after the liquidity sweep, what happened? Price rallied to the downside. But obviously, it was for short term, it was just briefly before it continued with rally. You can take advantage of this on the lower time frame. Right? So you can see on the second attempt, what happened? Price broke full closure, full candlestick closure. This is where the real break of structure is, correct? This is where the real break of structure is here. So you can see after this pullback, we had another attempt here. We had another attempt here. You can see after the first attempt, what happened? There was a liquidity sweep here, correct? So you can see the second attempt here. There was a second liquidity sweep. This is the second attempt. Then on the third attempt, what happened? Price was closed, full closure on the second attempt, on the third attempt, sorry. Then you can see the third candlestick broke and closed above this previous candlestick, right? So we have this pullback and continuation. You can see there's also a break of structure here. This one, but it's really minor. So let's ignore it and use this one instead. You can see that on the first attempt, price close full candlestick closure. So there's a valid break of structure here, correct? There's a valid break of structure here. You can see you can see there was a retracement here. I told you guys something about valid pullback. This is a valid pullback here. Why? Because in a bullish market, you want to see price take out the what previous candle low, this low before the breakouts, before the continuation to the upside. So let's mark underline the low. You want to see price take out this low, correct? So that's what happened here. That's what happened here. You can see that this candle took out this low. So this is a valid pullback. It actually took out liquidity on both sides, top and bottom, but the bone of contention is price simply took out the low, right? So we had the pullback here and we had the rally to the upside like this. On the first attempt of this breakout, what do we know happened? On the first attempt of this breakout, yeah, what happened? There was a liquidity sweep. That was on the first attempt, correct? But on the second attempt, what happened? Market closed what? Full closure. That is this one. So the real actual break of structure is here, like this. This is where the real break of structure is. So we had a long pullback, right? Let's observe something here. On this pullback, what happened? Price actually took out liquidity on this pullback here. And what I tell you about liquidity sweep, anytime price sweeps liquidity or take out the or takes out grabs people's stop loss here. This is a we call this key levels in the market where people put their stop losses. You can see that after this long liquidity sweep, markets continue to the upside, correct? Market continued in that direction. So we had a break of structure here, so a valid break of structure. Okay, but on the first attempt, what happened? In the first attempt of this break of structure, you can see that price took out this. Observe this candle here. Price took out liquidity here. Then this was the second attempt. Price did not fully close above this previous candle, but we had the third attempt here. You can see the real break of structure is here. The real break of structure is here. Oh, it's not even here. Why? Because this candle did not close full candlestick closure above this one. It's not actually here. It's actually on the next candle here. Why? Because the next candle closed above this candlestick high. Closed above it. You can see it closed above it. So we have this break of structure here, but it's not valid. We have this next candle break this candle high, but it's not valid. We have this one break this candle high, but it's not valid. The real break of structure is here. Why? Because this candle close full closure, right? So I hope that with this little example, you guys understand what break or how to identify a valid break of structure in the forex market. Catch you guys up in the next class.